Hey, hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are from. I'll just give you a few minutes to connect to the webinar. See, we have many participants connecting in now. Morning, good afternoon, welcome. Okay, for those of you who joined in the last few seconds, we're just giving people a chance to connect in to the webinar. There's still lots of people connecting now. Morning, good afternoon. Just giving people a few minutes to connect to the webinar. All right, we'll get going in 10, 15 seconds. Let's make a start. Hello, everybody. If you just joined us, hi, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon from all over the world. Thank you so much for taking time out of your calendar to join us today. Today we have myself, Duncan Casemore, co-founder and CTO at Applaud. And I'm delighted to be joined by Steve Jackson, who is Director of Product Management at Applaud. Steve, do you want to say hi?
Yeah, hi everybody. Thanks for taking time out of your day to join us today. Hopefully we'll give you an entertaining 45 minutes to an hour, and we'll certainly try our best. But good to see so many faces from all over the world.
Okay, great. Before we get started, just a little bit of housekeeping. This session is being recorded, so we will send out a copy of the recording afterwards. If you have to drop off early or you have colleagues that you think you'd like to see it, we'll send a copy of that. Let us know. We like an engaging session, so please do put comments, questions, thoughts in the chat section of the Zoom webinar. We'll be monitoring that as we're going. We may answer questions during the call. We also have a bit of time at the end for Q&A. So please have a think about some of those tough questions you want to ask us, and I'll be sure to read the question and get Steve to answer them. And we also have a Q&A section of the webinar as well, so feel free to use the Q&A section to ask questions rather than the chat. And if nothing else, please just say hi on there to let us know you're there. I will do that just now so that you can all see that. Right, there we go. So we're really excited about today's webinar session. This is our 2024 roadmap. We do these annually. It's one of my favorite webinars of the year, where we talk about some of the stuff that we have planned and coming up in the year ahead. We have a little bit of a look back on 23 as well. And this year really is very much a special year for Applaud and the broader industry. So we'll get into that in a little moment. First of all, a disclaimer that we are looking at forward-looking content. So this is roadmap. It's not a guaranteed commitment to deliver, but we have a good track record of delivering this stuff, and we're really excited to share what's with it. Okay, we're going to have a little quick look at 2023, a little look back at some of the things that have happened there for our customers, for our partners, for our prospects. It's always surprising just how big the Applaud platform is and how much stuff is already in there. We're always surprising customers with things that they didn't even know existed as an incumbent user. So we will talk a little bit about what's actually happened, as 2023 was our biggest year of product development we've ever had in our history. There's a lot of great stuff in there, so we'll spend a bit of time on that before we talk about 24. And before we get into that, you may have heard of AI recently. You may be sick of hearing about AI. I guess the industry has been talking about AI for many years. it started to get big around the time of big data and blockchain. But AI has really sort of taken the lead in terms of that trend. It's something that has permeated its way into many of the tools we use day in, day out, through the likes of Siri and recommendations in shopping sites. But it's really had a step change in its evolution in the last 15 months, triggered primarily by OpenAI and the arrival of large language models, which have meant that the underperforming delivery of AI in its previous incarnation is now something that delivers on its promise and goes significantly beyond that. I have been in the HR tech industry for a little while. I don't want to declare just how many years, but we count them in decades. And for me, I've never experienced disruption like this. These are the internet, the iPhone are for me not as big as the era of generative AI. The disruption it is going to have on the world, on all jobs, and the way that we live and work is very very hard to play out in terms of what that looks like. But it's huge, and we're starting to get a flavor as what's coming with that disruption. So we have people like Elon Musk talks a lot about generative AI. One of the original founders of OpenAI, and now bringing lots of generative AI into Tesla and his endeavors. Mark Zuckerberg, Google, everyone's this is top of the agenda. And just this week, I've been in workshops with customers, and we've spent nearly all week talking about AI. It's just insane. Next slide, please. What does that mean to HR? Well, it means two things really. It means that as HR leaders, the function of HR in supporting our colleagues do their job means that we will need to be supporting and partnering with lines of business for the huge disruption that is going to happen to jobs, the emergence of new jobs, the changing of jobs in most fields of work. Is one part of it, and the other part of it is the impact on HR operations and the HR function itself. So it is going to transform the way that we do HR. It's already transforming the way that we do HR, and it is the only way to embrace and achieve competitive advantage is to recognize that this is going to change the world, and we need to understand that and build our HR operating model around embracing that change. Okay, next slide. The number of apps that we have is continuing to evolve. The workplace is getting more complex. Generative AI is going to add to that complexity. It means the world of work is just changing at such a fast pace. At Applaud, we are fast off the mark in terms of understanding how generative AI impacts HR. Was one of the first HR tech vendors on the planet to introduce generative AI capabilities into our platform in May last year. We were talking about that during the session, and we have a roadmap that is packed with incredible stuff that we believe is going to change the game of HR. So I get excited enough about our roadmap sessions, but to me, 24 is unquestionably the most exciting year that I've ever seen in the history of HR tech and the history of Applaud. So tremendously excited to be talking about what happened towards the end of last year and what is happening this year. Steve.
Thank you, Duncan. Good intro there. I think nobody can kind of summarize that any better than you can there. Lots of passion and knowledge wrapped into your intro there. So thanks for that. So as Duncan said, we're going to have a quick look back at what was our busiest ever year last year. Incredible amount of new content, new features delivered across 3 very packed releases, all still named after theatres there. We had Almeida back in April that had a ton of stuff in there. Won't go through each of these bits individually, it's just too much. Our biggest ever release was the Palladium release in the summer. And that had a whole stack of stuff, including social reactions, ability to have more languages, and just a general amount of focus on bolstering our platform to put it into great shape for this year. And then as we went towards the end of last year, we really started to ramp up all of our AI development, and you'll start to see how that ripples through into what we're working on now and what we're looking to work on in the future as we go through the rest of this session. So our platform is broken down into various little different areas of focus. We've got different squads that have specialisms in each of these different areas, but we wanted to try and maintain innovation across all those different areas rather than just putting all our eggs into the chatbot basket or only focusing on search. We continue to innovate fairly evenly across all of these different sections, which has put us into really good shape for the year ahead, and great effort by everyone in engineering to do that. So just trying to pick out 5 highlights from last year was difficult because there was, as I said, more than 50, many more than 50. So to try and summarize what we've been working on last year into 5 is very difficult. It's almost like trying to choose who's your favorite child. So I've had to, if I've got 4 of my own children, that is something that's very difficult to do, but it's almost harder when you're trying to pick out features that you put a lot of effort into, not just yourself, your product team, engineering as well. So I've picked out 5 here, which I'll go through individually in a moment. So we start up with, as Duncan mentioned there, we were the first HR tech vendor in the world, we believe, to deliver generative AI capability. It seems like a long time ago now, but it was only back in May. I can't even think how many months ago that was, but it feels like a long time in some regards. But the end result of what we came up with was the ability to use generative AI to author content within Applaud. I like to use the word automagically, probably a bit cheesy, but I think it sums it up quite nicely what it's doing. Rather than when you go off and create a knowledge article, you have to have, first of all, an understanding of the subject, but also the capability to write well, for want of a better way of explaining it. We tried to make things a bit easier now. So you can see on that screenshot on the left, we have some pre-made examples. So it might be a how-to article. There's various other templates there. You can choose an optional pre-made template. It will fill out the basics of some structure. You just summarize what you want to write an article about, choose a tone of voice, and you can filter this in by different categories. And ultimately, you press this big green button, and AI goes off and works its magic. It goes off and writes super intelligent, well-formulated articles on whatever subjects you throw at it. We've been trying to catch it out for a long time now, and we haven't been able to do so yet. The end results are very impressive. And obviously, once it's generated this content, human intervention can come to the fore, and you can tweak all of this stuff. It may not always be perfect first time around, but it's remarkable how close it gets on all of this stuff. I'd encourage anybody that hasn't seen this before to have a look on our website, watch the videos that we've got that show how this works. That's with everything. There's a lot of clever tech going on here, but we have a very narrow focus in regards to making sure that it's user first, user centric, and super easy to understand and how to use all of this stuff. So great to be the first to market with that. Social reactions, I mentioned that earlier on in passing. We can basically now got LinkedIn style capabilities to like, comment, say something's insightful, easier to do than it is to say. And you can comment on any list item against any model. So whatever data you've got in Applaud, you can now start to get people commenting on that, seeing what content's hitting the spot with your workforce. It may be workforce newsfeed, it could be knowledge articles, it could be absolutely anything you like. And it's a great way of increasing engagement with your content rather than just throwing a load of content out there in a hit and hope fashion. You can now start to see what people like, and you can start seeing conversations unfolding on that content, which is a really powerful way of informing your content structure. And also these reactions begin to tie into AI as well. You can start using those interactions to see what type of content different individuals want to see going forward. So hyper personalization goes forward by an order of magnitude by having social reactions enabled. This is a kind of hidden gem, live auto updates of UI. It's a bit of a techie title. There's not really an easier way to explain that, other than saying when something changes in the background, it just magically comes to life in the UI in an elegant way. There's no longer any need to hit refresh or go to a different page and then come back to where you were to see data updating. If something changes in the data in the background, whether it's directly in Applaud or through a workflow or through an integration to a third-party system, everything updates elegantly, quickly, and efficiently on your page. You can use this in conjunction with some other features we've added in recently, such as the list highlighting, so you see the funky colors behind all of these card views. You can use that as another visual cue that, hey, something's changed, something needs your attention. You don't have to go through kind of SAP or Oracle style lists and kind of have your magnifying glass out. It's just there. It's in your face, but elegantly in a consumer grade way that you'd be expecting and demanding in a modern workplace technology such as Applaud. And I must add on that auto update, there's no config needed there, it just works out of the box. Another important thing that we worked on last year was extending our language support. We already supported a number of languages, but we've increased that significantly now. So we support over 40 languages, including some complex character sets, such as Chinese, Japanese, etc. In addition to the Arabic support we already had. So everything within Applaud, whether it's in the portal, whether it's communications going to users in different regions, different countries, everything is now fully translatable. And that also ripples through into our AI assistant, which I'll cover later on. But if you wanted to try and catch it out, as I did in this screenshot, where I asked it a question, it came back with a richly formatted answer. Just cheekily said, show me this answer in Hindi. And it came back with Hindi immediately. I'll have to defer to my colleagues to tell me whether it's perfectly correct, but I'd probably be happy to hang my hat on it and say, yes, it is, because we haven't been able to catch this bot out yet. But regardless of where you are, pretty much anywhere in the world, we've got you covered now. And from our research, it looks like we're probably got some of the best support for globalization of languages of any HR tech vendor now. So all important stuff that sets us up for the year ahead. And finally, for our look back, UI improvements. Anybody that's followed Applaud for any period of time now will know that we've always been proud of our UI. It's something I'm particularly passionate about, coming from a UI and UX background. We can't be having shabby old lists on screen. Everything has to meet the standards that are demanded by myself and Duncan. But we didn't want to sit on our laurels. We wanted to make sure that as we move into next year, we're keeping up with trends, not being too influenced by them because we're our own people. But we've rounded off a few corners on things. We've added a few nice little touches, and together, maybe there's 5 features there and a couple more. It gives quite a significant uplift and puts us in a position where we can compete shoulder to shoulder with any other vendor in the HR tech space, even these new ones that seem to pop up by the day with pretty pictures on their website. We've got nothing to be scared of there. So again, all this stuff comes for free out of the box, and it's all lovely consumer grade stuff. So I'll pause for breath there, switch back to Duncan, who's going to give you a bit of a strategy overview of what's coming next year, and then you'll get more from me on a kind of feature by feature basis after that. So over to you, Duncan.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, interesting stuff from 2023. I think a real mixture of things that existing customers love, like the real-time updates. It probably doesn't seem the most exciting thing in the world, but it's a real game changer in terms of user experience. The auto translation is a real hit, with everything automatically being translated all the time, which is wonderful, with some really cool stuff as well. The interesting for me, the generating the knowledge articles that we did back in May of 23 is already so far detached from some of the really AI, some of the brand new AI stuff we're doing now. It's quite remarkable to see just how much that's advanced even since May of last year. So 2024 is very much going to be around continuing our evolution on AI, and we talk about that. We spent a large part of 2023 really evolving the creator platform that we have in Applaud. The creator platform allows you to kind of almost build your own apps, if you like, within the Applaud platform. And there's really no end to what you can build. And I often have conversations with customers, and I say that it's great Applaud is a platform, and I say the downside is that Applaud is a platform, and because you can do so much, it's really important to focus on building things and delivering things that generate genuine value and return on investment. It's all too easy to start going down the path of building the wrong thing that perhaps doesn't have the right focus. And what our customers have been asking for is that we deliver more capabilities that are built on the platform out of the box, right? So we call these templates, and our templates are sort of drag and drop, one-click install ways of getting best practice capabilities. We're taking our templates and going one step further, really focusing on delivering some of those most common requirements and common capabilities out the box as rapidly as we can, so that our customers can get value from the platform faster. And so 24 is largely going to be about using our own creator platform and really bringing some of the capabilities and potential to life, using the power of next gen AI to inform that. So we're very excited about that. Some of the principles that we are sticking with is everything in Applaud is built around the needs of HR and employees. So whilst HRIS and perhaps sub-IT teams are users of the platform and help build out integrations and connectivity and that kind of thing, this is a tool that really is owned by and innovated by HR first and foremost. It continues to be one of the most customizable and powerful platforms in the enterprise space. This is the feedback we consistently get from people is the flexibility and customization, all in no code, so that you're not left with chunky, expensive things to maintain that require software developers. Is one of the standout capabilities. So we're not losing that element of the creator platform. We're just making it easier to do some of the things you want to do the most faster. And continue to be built around mid-market up to enterprise. So organizations from 2,000 employees up to 100,000 plus is typically where Applaud comes into its own. So organizations that have a large amount of complexity in the HR space, often operating in multiple countries, in multiple languages, with disparate, complex processes. Okay, next slide. When we think about bringing some of those capabilities to life, we can generally bucket them into one of 5 boxes. I know there's 6 boxes on here, but one of 5 boxes. So we have the portal, the intelligent portal, and this is where we deliver that one-stop shop for HR with widgets to do things like get access to your basic things like pay and your time off balance and requesting annual leave and some of the required learning that you need to do, and many other things around that portal capability. For many, there isn't a natural place where they have a home for some of those HR parts. It's often scattered around on the internet or through other knowledge sources, or buried away in Teams, which is often owned by IT. So the intelligent portal really gives HR the control to have that one-stop shop where employees can self-serve answers to questions and get access to the basic self-services. Particularly useful for organizations that have a large remote or frontline worker population were actually getting access to a desktop computer, or where they want to use their own personal device, sometimes without having to install apps, is a really nice way to just deliver that tier 0 service to a broader population of employees. That's one. Knowledge management is another, and we're going really big on this this year, is just being able to bring together all of those disparate knowledge sources that we have dotted all over the place, and then use the power of AI to help us create better knowledge content, to inform where there's knowledge gaps, to identify where there may be tone and voice problems, to think about where we've got gaps in coverage, to think about how we can deliver a more personalized experience. So this is a very exciting capability that we've had in the platform for a long time, but we are investing more with AI and analytics in this space. Our digital assistant we'll be talking about a bit more. This is game changing. It's genuinely remarkable. I think it kind of blows people away when they see it in action, and also importantly, just how easy it is to get started with this stuff, because sometimes the barrier for these things is the amount of time it takes to deploy and the internal resources available to do that. This allows us to deploy incredible assistant capabilities at scale. An exciting announcement from the Applaud side is we will be delivering case management help desk capability. At the moment, we integrate with third-party case management tools. We will be building our own case management product, which will be an optional component of the platform that will be available, and that is coming timeframes to be announced at a later point. Journeys is also a component we've had in the product for a while, with onboarding and offboarding and starting a family and all of those important moments. We are investing in this further to create a more hyper-personalized generative experience that is easier to deploy and creates a more personal touch at those key moments. And then all of that is underpinned by the sixth box, which is our creator platform, and that's already tremendously powerful. We are investing more in that, but really the focus of this year is about bringing those other 5 boxes to life using the power of the creator platform. Themes, I think the first one is probably not going to be surprising. We are very fast off the mark with next gen AI. We've already embedded it throughout the platform. It's some of the things we're doing are tremendously exciting and create really genuinely new opportunities for HR that haven't been possible before. Stuff that reduces caseload, reduces demands on HR teams, drives a better tier 0, improves productivity, and saves real money in HR efficiencies. That is very exciting. With the help desk announcement and further investment in our knowledge base and our assistant, our HR service delivery offering will be broader, and we're very excited about filling in some of the areas on there that we haven't got. Analytics and bringing AI-powered analytics into all of those areas, all of those 6 boxes, is also a key theme. We have some good analytics in the Applaud platform. We are making those even more extensive, and some great stuff to follow there. And then packaging all of that up with integrations, whilst our integration platform is incredibly powerful and you can do almost anything with it, we'll be trying to make some of those common use cases almost one-click setup, so it's much faster to get going with some of the common scenarios that we encounter.
Perfect. Thank you, Duncan. So yeah, I guess I haven't really got a drum to do a drum roll. There's a couple of guitars in the background, but haven't got anything lined up to kind of frame this announcement. But for some of you, this might be the first time you're going to see some of this AI and digital assistant stuff. It won't be a full demo. We'll be doing that over the coming weeks, but we're going to start with our feature preview with AI and digital assistant. So if you're looking for unparalleled accuracy and effortless HR, you need to look no further. We've been working tirelessly for months now to build what we see as the world's first AI digital assistant specifically built for HR. There's some other work going on across different vendors. Be lying if I said we're the only people looking at using AI for HR. but we think our dedicated HR arena experience, as Duncan said, decades of it, we've poured all of that knowledge into this, and we've come out of our last few months of intense work with something that is genuinely spine tingling, I would say. And I'm not usually one to kind of use superlatives, but on this occasion, I feel it's necessary to do so. Some actually staggering things you can do with this. And as Duncan said, the real killer feature here is that it's just so simple to set up. It's remarkably simple to set up. So when you think about some of the things that you're able to do with these types of bots, you would expect there would be a whole stack of things you'd need to do. You might need to have software developers, you'd need to have endless amounts of resources to get this working because it's the latest technology, right? But it just works so easily. It almost seems like a trick. And I'll show you a comparison of that in a minute. Another key thing to point out is that our bots don't just work within Applaud. It's not us saying you buy the platform, you configure a bot, it has to be deployed on our portal. Absolutely, you can do that. And I think some of the best results that you'll see will be when you do that. Existing customers have put a lot of effort into building their portals. And we're certainly not saying put those in the bin and use Gen AI. We're saying let's supercharge those platforms with some of the things that the AI bots can do to get them working together to give your employees an experience that just pretty much won't be expecting to come along so quickly. It really is a game changer and will open new opportunities for everybody that uses Applaud and people that don't use Applaud yet. It opens a lot of opportunity for people to start to take advantage of using AI to solve questions and make significant savings in the way that HR works within their business. So, as I said, you can use the chatbots in the portal. Brilliant, it works really well. Importantly, you can also embed our chat widget within other apps. It's really down to you. If your app of choice supports being able to embed third-party code using a script tag, we've got you covered. You can configure your bots on Applaud, use all the magic that we've built there, and just deploy it wherever you like. And it doesn't need to also be within an app, within a UI. It can be wherever your employees live their life in the world of work. Some people live their life in Slack. Others are Microsoft houses doing all of their day-to-day work in Teams. They might be in WhatsApp for Business or Google Chat, all manner of different places. All of these channels can be easily configured so that people can interact with our bots right from within Slack. They don't even need to leave Slack in order to use an Applaud Gen AI bot. So it's almost like ubiquitous. You configure it once in Applaud. It's down to you wherever you want to put it. It can come up with solutions to kind of deployment problems that you probably hadn't even thought were possible. So as Duncan said earlier on, everything we build is for HR, not IT. You've got some examples on the right there of some of the types of data sources you might train against. It may be your pay, your time off, or different policies. It could be any manner of things. The data can come from all sorts of different sources. It can pull in knowledge or content, policies from disparate sources. They can be on maybe SharePoint or all over the place. You can just consolidate them into your Applaud large language models and start to surface that content from bots pretty easily. The end result is that this starts to help you lower your HR costs almost from day one. You can start to put the power of answering questions into your employees. We're not saying fire all your HR teams. We love them. We'd be wrong to say that, absolutely. But what it will do, it will free up those people to be working on the work that they want to be able to do and the work that will make a difference to your organization. Nobody wakes up, wants to be an HR professional so that they can answer repetitive questions, that they go into that industry so they can make a difference in the way that people's work lives unfold. So it frees them up from those repetitive tasks. Your workers can complete their work more quickly because they can find answers at the touch of a couple of buttons rather than going off and phoning someone and saying, oh, click on this, go to here, it's on this intranet, read it, go to the index. By the time you've done all that, you've forgotten what you're supposed to be doing and half your day is wasted. So it frees people up in that way as well. And everything can be hyper personalized as well. It doesn't need to be just one size fits all. You can do clever things with your prompt engineering and your model set up so that the bot knows who you are. It can answer relevantly to you, give you the content that's completely relevant to whatever your role is and wherever you work. You won't get the same answer for a manager that works in Mexico as you would for a graduate that works in London, or however you want to kind of carve things up into different segments. It can all be taken care of, and it's all taken care of securely as well because it ties into our existing permissions. So overall, you work smarter and faster than ever before. As I mentioned earlier on, it's just so simple to set up. I struggle to even put a 5-step list here. It's really probably less than that, but it was absolutely critical when designing this. It had to be super easy to set up. Chatbots of old, or chatbots up until really a few months ago, you could do relatively clever things with them, but they were very much rules-based, and you had to really have a very detailed plan of what it is you wanted to try and do so that you could work out when you click on yes or no, what happens, and all sorts of branches, and it can get quite complex quite quickly. If you want to create a digital assistant in Applaud, all you really need to do is define your use case and work out what it is I want this bot to do. Even when you've kind of got it just vaguely worked out, just go into create a new bot, write a prompt, tell it what you want the bot to do, have a go at writing a prompt and see what the bot does. You can tweak the prompt as much as you like, refine things so you get it quite right. But from a very basic prompt, by prompt I mean maybe 1 or 2 sentences, probably less than that in most cases. Just explain what you want the bot to do. You might say, I want a knowledge bot to help my graduate onboarders to understand key policies and things that they need to know in their first few months of work. The bot can take care of that. You then choose where you want the bot to appear. So as I mentioned before, you can deploy this in Applaud. You can choose it to appear everywhere, only on 1 or 2 pages, or you can choose to have it in Slack, Teams, wherever you want. And for any of our Applaud on-premise customers that may be on this call, we're going to be letting you get stuck into having digital bots on our on-premise product as well. So that's some clever stuff going on there. Ultimately, you press the green button, watch the magic happen instantly. And then you just, once you get it right, you start saving a ton of money pretty much from day one, once you've got those prompts right. But it really is that easy. You can create as many bots as you like, and they all appear within the same UI. You don't have to go off and have loads of different bots. You can just switch between them from a nice list on the left. It's very easy to switch between the bots. There's no kind of complex navigation. But as I alluded to just then, bots of old needed a lot of setup. This bot we're seeing here was actually one that was created by an Applaud employee. I can't even remember what it does now, but it shows you how many steps you'd need to take in order to get a rules-based bot. So when you think about chatbots, think of a little window in the bottom right of your screen, press a couple of buttons, it replies back. Depending on your answer, yes or no, it would go down a different branch. It gets quite complex quite quickly. So you do need to know what you're doing. Not only that, it's quite difficult to maintain. You need to know your way around. It's not just something you can dive in or out of very easily. But how about this? This is a chatbot config of a bot that can do pretty much anything you've be familiar with in ChatGPT. And some of the quotes on the left there are real quotes from people that have been hands-on with that. So is that all we need to do? Just wow. And first time I set up a bot and used it, I got shiver down my spine at just how easy it was to create something so powerful. So obviously I talk a lot, so the last quote was mine. But that is what it was like. I kind of got that bot configured the first time our developers had deployed the code, and I had to go out for a walk because it was like, we've done it. How have we made something so powerful, so easy to set up? It's actually a joyous experience. In terms of what it can do, there's a whole ton of different use cases for what you can actually get these bots to do. I won't read them all out there. We'll be sharing these slides, but we've got at least 12 different use cases there. So personalized experiences, finding answers, higher task completion, automatically writing content and helping people get connected to that content fast, not just go off and have a look at a knowledge base. It's just you ask a question and it brings the knowledge base to you. It's remarkably effective in connecting people with knowledge that you've spent a lot of money building and maintaining. It's just getting value out of all of that more efficiently than ever. So what's coming? When can you get hands-on with this stuff? Well, the good news is in a matter of days. We have been tirelessly working the last few months and the last few weeks particularly. If you ask anybody in Applaud engineering or product about a release 11.1, that's probably all they've thought about or talked about for weeks now, probably thinking about it in their sleep. They're probably seeing their alphabetic spaghetti forming into R11.1 when they're eating their dinner. But the end result is amazing. So in a few weeks' time, we'll have these Gen AI powered bots available to use and for people to see demos of. A lot of this is underpinned by a vector database architecture, which I'm not talking about in this session, but for those of you that know what that is, you'll be excited to know that that's the direction that we're going down. We're also starting to look at how we can use AI to power our search as well. So when we started to get hands-on with bots, we've always had a really strong search. The more we got deeper into it, the more it felt like search and chat are becoming almost one and the same thing. So we will be start to see some chatbot AI stuff coming into our search. So if somebody asks a certain type of question, rather than just come back with search results, even if they are powered by a vector database architecture, are more relevant than ever, you'll now also start to see the ability to initiate a conversation right from within chat. So it's very engaging, and all of that stuff will be coming in a matter of weeks in terms of the bot, and certainly by release 12, April time for some of the other stuff. And as we move into later parts of the year, there's a ton of exciting stuff in here. So doing clever things with images, generating videos in our answers, adding more of the answers into search and making them richer than ever, coming back with things other than text or even rich text. We'll also start to think about how we can bring parts of our portal back in AI responses. If you've built a rich Applaud portal, you don't just want that to be overshadowed by AI, and we would never want that to happen either. So we're going to do some really clever stuff here where you can start to bring some of your portal widgets back as responses within your AI bot. So if you ask the bot about what's my leave balance, rather than just saying you've got 37 days remaining and this is your accrued leave and you've used 7 days or whatever, even though it give you quite a detailed and relevant answer, we're going to start bringing some graphics into that. So you'll see that answer. You may also see a chart. It may give you follow-ups that are relevant as well about you've got a lot of leave accrued, you haven't had a break for a while. Here's a link off to your benefits portal to see if you've got some holiday discounts or maybe time for some wellness check-ins. All of that sort of relevant follow-up will come. We'll also be looking at AI for security as well, so detecting suspicious activity. And then further on down the line, some crazy stuff will be coming. So ability to have video chats with virtual agents. We've had a play around with some of that. Some really cool concepts coming out there that we'll look to try and start working on later in the year, and more stuff with image and video as well. So all systems go, and all extremely exciting stuff, and privileged to be able to work on some of this stuff to make people's work lives better than ever. But it's not all about the AI stuff or the digital assistant. As Duncan says, it's more of an AI mindset. If we think about AI, it's kind of, does it solve a real problem? It's not just, here's a bolt on, go and buy it. It's, if AI can solve a problem that we couldn't solve before, let's use it, and let's use that wherever it's relevant. But Duncan mentioned that brand new thing we're going to be looking at later on in the year is our own HR help desk. So we're going to be leveraging the power of AI to build our own case management solution, which will be in addition to what we already support. We already support integration to third-party help desks such as ServiceNow, NeoCase, and others. But we've been listening to our customers, and so many of them come to us and say, "No, we're tired of using vendor X." We won't out them on this call, but there are many people coming to us with the same question: how do we get rid of vendor X? And can we use Applaud for that? And before we were sort of helping them with integrations, but now we're thinking, no, we can have a go at solving that. So we'll be looking to do that later in the year. So lots of thinking to go on amongst the teams to get to that point. Dates to be confirmed, but we're going to be thinking about how we can get started on that, certainly within the next few months, and let's see what we can do. Knowledge management, again, as Duncan mentioned, we're going to be going all in on this as well this year. So much of the bot is about connecting people to knowledge, but we also already have great capabilities in place with our templates, our ability to generate content automatically. It would be amiss of us to not build upon that great kind of footprint we've already got, to take that to the next level. So some of the stuff you'll start to see demos of, and you may have already seen some demos of if you've been on any of Duncan's previous AI webinars, is you can build an entire knowledge base pretty much automatically using a combination of features within the Applaud platform. It's actually crazy what you can do in that regard, bringing together all of that knowledge you've got scattered around all over the place, suck it into Applaud, let it do its magic, and it will just present you with a fully searchable knowledge base that you can surface into your AI assistant or bring into your portal in a logical way. So we'll be looking to bolster our capabilities more this year through features such as tabular data support. We don't have tabular data support right now. We've always been a mobile first company, but in order to be able to deliver certain data, we're going to need to kind of fill that gap. That should be a fairly easy one to solve. We're looking to improve our rich text editing experience. There's nothing wrong with it today. It's very good, nice and easy to use, clean, but we want to try and enhance that further so that we be on feature parity with tools out there such as Zendesk and others, where people are familiar with authoring large bodies of content. We'll be introducing analytics so that you can start to look at content on what we would call, without being technical, an object level detail. So if we have to make a feature in order to be able to support that, so that you can see which knowledge articles people are using the most, which ones they're using social reactions on, which ones are being thumbs up, thumbs down, which ones aren't being read at all. Anyone that's used Zendesk or those sorts of tools, you'll see that they have capabilities to show you most popular articles, which ones people are not reading. So you can end up fine-tuning your content strategies. You're not maintaining thousands of documents that are no longer any relevant. And then later on, we'll be looking at some of the more deep features of knowledge management, such as publisher workflows and approvals. People portal has always been the kind of backbone of Applaud, really. It will continue to be so. It's super easy to build pretty much whatever you want within Applaud, but as Duncan said, we want to try and leverage the knowledge we have within the Applaud teams to build out more templates so that we have even more than ever those key crucial services available out of the box so that you don't have to spend as much time setting things up. It's all about making this portal even quicker to set up, even more personalized and more beautiful than ever, so that your portal continues to kind of be the face of all of these other systems that are going on in the background. So we started work on that with the UI refresh that I mentioned earlier, but we'll be starting to do some clever stuff in regards to connecting your portal to the AI bots and starting to do things like AI-powered form filling. If you want to book leave, we can use AI to do that automatically for you. It can fill in a form in Applaud. You can maybe fill in a form in Applaud and send that data back to Workday or wherever your back-end systems lie. We can do some of that stuff automatically. And to make that happen more efficiently and quicker than ever before, we're looking to do some stuff with one-touch integrations later in the year. So rather than giving you access to a great big tool set, we're going to be refining that down and packaging up some of the learnings we've had over the last couple of years so that you can just fill in a couple of boxes or maybe a connection string here and there, sprinkle a bit of magic dust on it, and you're set up and ready to start bringing in that data from all over the place and doing magical things with it in the portal or with AI. So just to summarize some of that stuff and see when you can expect it, our release schedule will be a little bit different this year. We're still going to have, for existing customers, we're still going to have 3 major releases in the year. So in April, August, and December. But this year, in order to kind of give you that AI magic as soon as possible, we've got an additional release here in yellow, release 11.1, and that will be coming within the next few weeks, and certainly within the next month, hopefully. Final date to be confirmed. And that's where you'll be able to get hands-on with all of this chatbot magic. So this time we have got this off-cycle release. We'll get back to a more regular cadence for releases 12 to 14. And then a one-slide snapshot of everything that I've mentioned there, broken down by product area. So this is a good way to see how we're continuing to innovate evenly across not just the platform, but also areas as well. So we can start to show people how you can join up all those different bits of Applaud and start to do even more impressive things now than you've ever been able to do before. So obviously, to find out more, I can't tell you everything within half an hour. There's always our knowledge base. There's stacks of articles on there about everything that already exists. You can learn more about how to build things in Applaud from our academy. Sign up there, get some great training. And we've also got some brilliant YouTube videos in there. Shout out to our tech comms team for all the stuff they've been doing there to educate the world about some of the magic that we've been building in product and engineering. So I'll pause for breath there for a minute, Duncan. Are there any questions that have come in that you'd like to answer or get me to answer?
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, brilliant. Love it. I'm really excited for the year ahead. I think another way to get in touch and to learn more is to speak to your customer success manager or speak to sales. We love to show off the product. That's our favorite thing to do. The good thing about some of the new stuff that's coming in 11.1 is it's quite easy to personalize it for your particular knowledge, content, and policy information. So if you haven't seen it already and you'd like to have a look, we'd be more than happy to show you that and can arrange a session by your customer success manager or through sales. So do get in touch. We can show you what's coming and what we've already got. In terms of questions, Steve, yeah, we do have some questions. We've got one is sorry, I'll start from the beginning. So how easy are the AI features to roll out? Do they come baked into the platform already?
Okay. Yeah, I think in terms of how easy they are to roll out, almost, I wouldn't say almost too easy, but as you've seen from some of the quotes there, it when you get hands on with it, you almost have to kind of pinch yourself and think, hang on, I must be missing something here. I need to go off and read a manual. But you don't. It really is remarkably easy to roll of this stuff out. You can genuinely deploy these AI bots in minutes. And that's not marketing spiel. I'm definitely not a marketing person. I'm a realist, and yeah, if you want to roll out an AI bot and you've got a tea break, you could roll out your bot and you'd still probably burn yourself on your drink. It's really that quick to set some of this stuff up.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think one of the things we often do is connect your disparate knowledge sources into Applaud, so it's got some content that it can help provide more personalized and contextual answers to questions. And so there is an element of integration and connecting up those different sources, but we can also do that reasonably quickly for some of the time. Okay, there are more questions, so I can take this one. Steve, the question is, can you have the digital assistant as a standalone product, or do you need the full platform? So there's two different parts to it. One is what you can buy, and then the other part is what you can deploy. Certainly, the digital assistant can be deployed independently. You've seen there that it can be deployed in our portal, or it can be deployed in Teams or Slack or through WhatsApp, or it can be deployed as a web app. In terms of purchasing it, there are some foundational bits to buy, but you can get access to the commercially get access to the chatbot capabilities without buying the full platform. So that makes it quite a lot more accessible in terms of a price point. Okay, we have more questions coming in. So Steve, is the knowledge, sorry, do we have a timescale or target for the digital assistant bot?
Yeah, the first digital assistant is coming in release 11.1, which is in a matter of weeks. So effectively code freeze today for the techies on the call. So we've been tirelessly design approving this for the last few weeks. So once we're happy with everything ironed out, we'll be publishing a release date on that. But hopefully it should be available in February, would you say, Duncan?
Yeah, February, yeah. So I realized that specific question was also about, can that digital assistant also be used for our on-premise customers? And the answer is yes. The release is applying universally to all customers at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, what else have we got? Probably time for one more question, I think, before we use up the time. So, what measures are in place to make sure personal data doesn't make its way into public-facing bots?
I'm going to take that one.
Sure.
Yeah, nicely.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think it's a really good question. The answer is complicated. I think one of the slides we saw an example of it answering questions related to someone's payslip. When you're looking at deploying a chatbot like this, I probably wouldn't start with one that has access to payslip data. Your data privacy teams may have a few issues with that being a starting point. But nevertheless, Applaud delivers the capability to answer questions both on generic knowledge and on specific data relating to an employee. And the way that it works, it means that we have a data security layer in place, which means it's impossible for the bot to be able to reveal or have access to information that the user themselves does not have access to, which is a safeguard to make sure that we're not revealing information that it shouldn't do. So even if you do decide to answer questions on payslips or sensitive data, then you have a safeguard there that it's not going to do anything sensitive. Okay. I do see one more question coming in about large language models. I think we'll have to take that one offline in the interest of time, but thank you. It's a great question. just a thank you from me. Thank you so much for coming along. Thank you for attending. It's been a great session. If you have any more questions afterwards, please do reach out to us. We'll be delighted to talk to you about this. And we're looking very much forward to the year ahead. So thank you once again. We look forward to speaking to you throughout the year.
Yeah, thanks very much for your time, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.